Well, hello, yes, Marc and Chums again, and I think we're number 21 in a series. This time we are actually going to be talking to a dear friend who's become a friend over the years, the last few years, and certainly before COVID, if I remember something rightly about that. And we've done about 5 films together. And I have to be honest with you, she's one of the most brilliant actresses I've worked with over the years, and I've been around a little long time, as you all well know. So let's just say hello to Gillian Fischer.
Hello.
Hello.
What an intro, Mark. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, and it's a bright sunny day outside, but we're back at the Fox as usual, which is
Yes.
nice. I'm having and you're having coffee.
I am.
But you're off to work later, aren't you? Now, Gillian, we met quite some time ago in a basement in a junk shop.
Yeah, sounds a bit ominous, really.
It's out in Eastbourne.
Yes.
I mean, our director Stephen, he finds these places, and I go down the bloody yard. I mean, you just walk up and down streets, you do, don't you? Dirty old sod. Now, the fact is, in that film, I played a really, not the real one, but a really nasty Father Christmas.
Yes.
Who, that was an axe murderer.
Yeah, well, it was a horror.
It was certainly a horror because I was in it, and all my films are horrors. And you played. What did you play?
I played a Dalmatian.
A Dalmatian.
Bring the food bowl, Neva.
I mean, I remember because there were certain scenes in that you had to sit down and pretend you're eating out of a dog bowl, and they were actually jelly beans or jelly babies or something like that.
I have to admit, I mean, I think it was the second film Stephen asked me to do with him, and well, you know, when you start, you take every opportunity and you want to know what's out there, and this came along. I thought, okay, horror, interesting, Dalmatian, okay, interesting. And the whole day was interesting.
And dusty.
And very dusty.
Absolutely.
It was very dusty. It was scary, so I think it was a good location for a horror.
I was surprised at it. I mean, I was dressed as this rather obese, with a real beard. No acrylic with me. I didn't even mean my nails. We used one of my very thick doodahs, and I can't remember what part of the year it was, but I do remember we were all given by the lovely Steve a little Christmas bag full of little bits and pieces in order to take home, including, of all things, hand sanitizer.
Yes, well, very important.
And little cakeys and things like that.
That's very true. Stephen's always good at that, though.
And I remember at the end of it, you were allowed to keep your Dalmatian costume.
I was, and I still have it. And
it's basically a onesie, isn't it?
it's basically a onesie. And I took it home thinking, okay, this will be fun. And I have worn it once or twice. My kids like it. They were very excited when I came home with the onesie.
How old are your children?
Well, they're older now than they were back then.
It was quite some time ago.
I mean, they're 19 and 15 now.
Were they sort of shouting at their father, she's out of bed again?
No, but I laugh because yes, I do have a friend who has a dog, and every time they want her to sit down out of the way, they do shout bed. Is that you've got a dog? Is that common? Bed.
Well, no, my dog lad sits on the bed with me. We watch telly. He's terrible. He watches the box. You know, I mean, he's quite intense. And of course, if it's repeating news, he gets a bit bored of those. Oh, we should turn it over. You know, I'm sick of seeing chums like Jeff Moody who's one of my chums on TV News.
You then. But
Well, yeah, but
no, it was really it was a very interesting horror. I mean, to see a horror of Santa Claus being,
Horrible.
well, a murderer with an axe and keeping people in cells, not for children. You are kind of ruining the whole.
Well, no, it basically, it was just like, there was a film made at one of the anthology series called Tales from the Crypt, which had Joan Collins murdering her husband, and there's Kensington gorse all over the place, over the paper and all that. But of course, a mad Father Christmas had just got out of an asylum, and she's trying to clean off all this stuff from Kensington gorse. Very difficult to get out. So it was back about 1973, 74. And
Have to wait before my time.
but not mine.
Just saying.
And of course, that was a nasty scent. Of course, she then gets rather unfortunately badly done, strangled at the end, because it goes into a sort of blur, and then back into the anthology series of the next story that comes up. But it's not the first time it's been done, but I do remember with that axe, I nearly broke the table. Do you remember? And I'm dragging the axe along the floor. There's nothing to be scared about. I remember the blood. Do you remember blood?
I do remember the blood. And actually, you talk about the axe. What I do remember also is because I was chained, wasn't I? I had a collar chain around my neck, and you liked that.
Did I supply that?
You liked that. There was a scene you had to pull me, isn't it?
Good doggy. Good doggy, doggy, doggy. Good dog. You want some ding-dings? But I was really pulling on that because you had, it was a bit S&M, wasn't it?
A little bit S&M, but method acting works. What can we say? It's fine. It was funny though. We did have a chuckle about it afterwards.
We did laugh. I mean, that's the first time I did a film with you. Although you had worked with Stephen before that.
Yeah.
And I did say to Stephen afterwards, I can't remember. I think you put me on the train, and I said, I've got to work with that one because she's so good.
Well, it was actually, you're right, it was the first time we met. So when that was all going on, when you first work with someone, you're like, oh gosh, okay, I know I've agreed to this, but God, I hope they don't go too far.
Well, I was playing a mass murderer.
Well, exactly, but you went far enough, and that's fine.
Because I always seem to play as you know villains in these things, or some sort of antagonist. And
I think what made it fun for me, because it's always a challenge, isn't it, when you go on set and you meet people for the first time and you've got these kind of scenes to do. You just don't know,
Well, yeah, that's why when I go on set, I tend to meet you with big smiles and how do you, Mark? And you don't go, I'm playing the lead and all that sort of, and all, no, fucking shit. No, but all the team, get on with it, enjoy it and all that. Because when you've broken that ice, and that's why I always say to him, if there's any outtakes, I want them.
Yeah, you always ask for the outtakes.
I want the outtakes, but I'm actually quite good, I don't. Right.
Yeah, you don't want the film, he doesn't want the film, he just wants the outtakes.
I don't really make mistakes.
No.
You know what I mean? So after that, there was a bit of a period of not doing anything because COVID happened.
Yeah.
I think we sort of did Bloody Mary in the midst of COVID.
Yeah.
But then it was a second lockdown and all that.
Yeah.
And I had been sort of playing Father Christmas again, but not a nasty one. at some dreadful garden centre, now closed to the public, I wonder why. And there was an idea that was muted to do a film called Uncle George.
We're still working on that one.
Well, we did film it. We filmed it up the bevy, didn't we?
We did.
And I was feeling like shit.
Yes, you were.
I was not well, and I really wasn't. And there was some of the onset of the problems I have now and all that. And of course, when you're diabetic, I mean, you understand, everyone does it, I think. You can be a little bit, well, I certainly was at that day, and I apologise for it. Not up my arse, it's just I did not feel well enough to do it. However, after a coffee or two, I had the full this on, like that, and you were playing a lady with somebody else across the room, and I had my dog with me, lad. What happened?
I was with you on the other side of the room, but the you without the beard. This is George. He says his birth mother was Malcolm.
George Mackenzie.
I'm
Mark. A lot of people call me Chippy and Mental.
because in between with beard and without beard, I had recovered to have a Marc and Chums they called the shaving. It was his idea, not mine, and had it all taken off.
Yeah. Oh, that one. That's what you mean in between. Yes.
And then we came back and did the other thing from the other point of view, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I really, and you were just fantastic in it.
You're very kind.
Kindness has nothing
Very
to do
kind.
with it.
I like Uncle George. When I say we're still working on it, because we want.
Why are we still working on it?
Why are we still working? You know why we're still working on it.
Well, they don't. It's your show, not mine, love.
Well, the sound was not great.
There was a lot of background noise too.
A lot of background noise in that pub, even though it was quiet. A lot of people were coming in and out, and it did ruin it. But that
well, so you know, there was I remember that arse in the kitchen. So, you know, it was in Italian and started to burst in like it was actually doing a gondola down the blinking, you know.
You know, I completely lost track. Lost track.
And I was going, you know, and we didn't want because they were supposed to be doing what we were doing them because he did a, didn't you? You did a advert for them, television advert and all that. And they were just useless. And it was only just when I was filming recently with Sir and all that, we were in the car and he said, do you fancy doing Uncle George again? I said, I'd love to. Because I really, the premise of it, we won't, you know, because it's out already, but it's in a limited form to be watched. It's going to be redone again soon.
Yeah.
We were going to do it in January, but dates and all that.
Yeah, we're waiting for dates to align.
What?
You're alright keeping that beard for a bit longer?
Well, hold on a
How
minute.
the birds
No, I've got to
do
take this off because we'll do Edgar Allan Poe next. And on Edgar Allan Poe, with him and another lady I did, the Doctor Fragrant Concubine called Aurora, who's from France, and she's beautiful. And she has a really nice accent, But why is it in January you can't line up to do Uncle George then, I wonder? Do tell.
Oh, well, I have another job coming up and I'm waiting for dates and it should be January and pays more. I'm afraid.
What you just said? Did you hear? Cheeky cow.
It pays more and I need
Go on,
jobs that
tell
pay
the nation,
more.
tell the nation.
Tell the nation.
Tell the nation.
Well,
that's your camera there.
Okay, well,
and then you can promote it.
Promote it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's a TIE, Theatre and Education. I had an audition and I have been added to the roster of actors for the Phileas Fogg Theatre Group, Theatre Company, and we do theatre and education in the Netherlands with students. It's a bit of a horrible history way of teaching them history with acting without them knowing that they're acting. So I'm very much looking forward to it. So I'm just starting, and I'm waiting.
That's why we can't get the dates.
Exactly. If I don't know the dates, he's working. The CEO is working out all the dates because, of course, I need to rehearse and then shadow and then jump into it.
They'll be absolutely marvellous because I have to say, you know, when people they say TIE, always I said no, it's fantastic for the kids because it's the first time they see theatre and they're learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget your sodding pantos and all your weather girls and all that. This is when you really get down to the nitty gritty, and of course it's indulgent with the children and they love it.
They love it
because they become part of it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, and even if they don't want to, so it's very. What I do like about the ethos of this company is, you know, if they don't want to, it's fine, but they are anyway and they don't realise it. So there's no big pressure. You know, if a child doesn't want to say a line or doesn't want to be paid,
it's not like pushing them into.
They can be part of the scene, but not necessarily, you know, in the spotlight, which I think is great. But I, alongside acting, always worked in education, so when I get an opportunity to combine...
Most of us have worked in education. I mean, that's what happens with actors. You know,
we're very good in education.
A lot of people say to me about drama teachers and all that. Well, the problem with drama teachers, of course, they're failed actors. And I said, a lot of very well-known actors have become drama teachers, and there's nothing in a failure about that at all, because it's important.
Well, I think people just have a misconception of the actor's working life. You're self-employed. So from one job to the next, you need something in between to pay the bills and pay the rent and feed yourself.
And that's what it's all about.
Family. And that, you know, and education is a very easy sector for actors to fall into.
Well, it's your inability to indulge with the small folk, the children and all that.
Also it's skills, you know, as an actor's skills, you have skills that feed into that sector. It's listening, it's playing, it's understanding, it's being empathetic, it's having compassion, it's contributing to their ideals and managing it forward. So,
and it's good to have that string to your bow as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, we'll be back in a moment. We then did, in my eyes, the most surreal film I think you and I have been in.
Which, that one.
That one.
The black and white one.
The black and white one. Although it was filmed in colour. And there's some lovely outtakes, aren't there? And it was called The Book of Morias.
The Book of Morias.
And the reason it was called The Book of Morias, you went, didn't you? He was going down one of those junk shops and he found a book made of bamboo and stuff, and it was the Book of Morias, but just had postcards in it, didn't it?
Yes.
And that's why it was called. It was beautiful. I've still got it.
Have you?
Yes, I was.
You were given it.
Given it. Wasn't I? Oh, thank you.
That's what I mean when I say Stephen spoils us.
Oh yeah. We always get something out of it somehow. The fact is now, to explain this film, I'm going to find very difficult.
I'll leave it to you to explain this film.
Well, there were three of us in it. I played this sort of strange monk-like creature.
Yes.
And you played a nun, which was filmed here at the Fox, the first bit, and we did this in a day, and it was a beautiful sunny day, I remember as well. We filmed all the stuff in the morning here with John, aka Betty Swallows, who played somebody called Barry, who was a magician, card tricks, and I don't know if we used this hat or it was a hat similar, wasn't it?
Who are you? I'm the magnificent Barry. Barry. Take a card.
Yeah, bloody big ones, aren't they?
They are. They are very big. Take a card. Any card.
your godfather.
You know, I used to be a master baker. Until I became allergic to flour.
After that we moved on to Lewis, and your nun became a bit more punk rock, if I remember.
She did. She did. She became a bit more punk rock, a bit more into, I guess, it's the dark magic that the book supposedly had over her.
Yeah.
It's kind of overwhelming.
You were basically wearing a Vivian Westwood type
Yeah.
punk nun
Well,
habit.
it was one of those. Stephen gave me the costume and said, turn it into punk. And I think what happens is you know, I don't know about you, but you go online, you look at pictures, not that I don't know what punk is, but just to get it right with a nun, punk, and a lot of images come up from Halloween, of course, and things like that. And I did lean on my husband, who's a sculpture artist, to say, well, how do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do things randomly and it just won't look like punk.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So he did help me cut the dress in the right places, add these big safety pins.
Safety pins, I remember you had safety pins.
Yeah, that's right, all the way up the leg, and then maybe we did something to the top part as well. Maybe I think we cut the nun part that came across and put a few safety pins here.
Well, put it this way,
well.
it wasn't Sister Act.
That's a lollipop. It's a very big one. I wouldn't mind having a suck on that.
It's my godfather. Brought me here with the lollipop and bubbles. Fun.
It's a shame they never last all that long. Gone in an instant.
But I think there was a few things in that film, even though we didn't really understand what was going on, and it does. I think I was saying to you just before we filmed, isn't it? This, when we come and do films with Stephen, sometimes he doesn't give you the information on purpose, because he just wants to give you the moment.
Yeah.
And that being
And to make it
present and without overthinking what you're doing. And there is some beauty in that. I have.
Oh, I agree.
Decided it is good to do your work and the research and understand what you're doing, but sometimes, especially when you come into surreal stuff, the less you know, the better. And Stephen just gives you the atmosphere of that moment, and as an actor, you try and connect to that moment the best you can. And he films it, and if he's happy, I'm happy.
Well, I do remember it was a very bright sunny day. We left here and went all the way over to Lewis. I think we had Betty in your car, or whatever, I can't remember who was in whose car, but we got over there. And because it was filmed in it was filmed in colour and then converted to black and white, because of the lovely leaves and all that, it just gave it a wonderful atmosphere, because we were in the graveyard, weren't
Yes, we
for a lot of
were.
it.
Yes.
Um,
I had to tie your shoes or something.
You actually washed my feet with your hair, or pretended to.
Not my real hair, by the way.
It's only a wig.
The illusion of film. But all these little moments. The thing was, Stephen has it in his head, and after doing a few films with Stephen, you trust that he knows what he wants, and he is one that he has the vision, he knows what it's supposed to look like, and you're not really disappointed in the end.
Well, I
with the
wasn't.
edit that he does.
I mean, we did
It's very
some.
interesting.
We put this All Saints, which was a church. It's now a community centre, and there were bits, you know, with all the stained glass windows and all that.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. When I saw it, I just said, "Do you know what? I'm going to have to watch that again." And then you've got to watch it a few. You've got to watch it a few.
You watch it a few times and you still don't know.
And I'm
what's
still
going on.
going.
Yeah.
Fucking no idea what's going on here. But from an artistic, surreal point of view,
Sure.
it was very beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
And it would have been a completely different film if it had been made in colour. It had to be in black and white. Whereas I was all in black, you were all in black and all that.
When I saw the film and he converted it to black and white, it did feel correct. Because then you get the shadows, isn't it?
Well, that was it, with all those lovely leaves and all that. And I think we did a bit in the loo here, didn't we? Because we filmed it.
Yeah.
We were in the loo.
We did, didn't we? You had to come in and do some kind of video diary.
I bet you can't get your orchestras out. Oh, they're all keyed up and then you can't go. Oh.
Do not urge me to leave you or return from following. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.
My God. My God. What the hell was that?
On that particular day, we did unfortunately, the Jennifer's now Caitlin, he was the man who was looking after the graves that was still there. Unfortunately, we did one with him. And I said to him in the January of this year, would you like to do another one? Because he had such history of theatre and all that stuff.
What did he?
And he said, well, I'm not very well at the moment. Can we do it a bit later in the year? He died in the March of this year. And it was nice. I was asked to go to the memorial thing, which they did in Lewis. And I said, you know, I don't really want to do this. But Stephen very kindly allowed them to do an edited version of him and I. And of course, he died of lung cancer. And one or two got a bit peed off because at the start of the Marc and Chums, you always see me smoking a cigarette. Because that's what a blow it out and ends up being the title, which is, you know, terribly clever of that man over there. And one or two, the guy who was organising, I don't understand, but one or two thought it was a bit off that you were smoking, and I said, who shows it? I said, you could cut that out, you just want bits of cake, you know, and if you put that on, that's up to them. Well, who are they to say that? You know, he knew what he was doing, he was still smoking back when we were doing that because he liked a cigar.
Well, I guess it's, you know, people get sensitive.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, but I didn't do it, but it did go down very well, you see, so it's always a good
Sad to
thing.
hear that he passed.
It would have been great to do another one with him because he was a fountain of knowledge and all that, but I don't think you really came across him because you were...
I did see him, but I wasn't part of the conversation. I think
No, you were
I had
trying to
go
do
in
whatever
and
you were
something
doing.
with Stephen.
Yeah.
And then I went to get changed because we were done, and
Yeah.
by then I think you parted.
Well, he had gone off, I think. He was a lovely, lovely man. But it is a film I enjoyed making, purely by the fact is that when it came to watching it, I've watched it about 4 times now. I'm still going.
You're still going.
But it's because of the beauty of the photography. That's what I liked about it too.
Yeah.
And we all stand out very well at the time. You know, don't blow me in trouble, but everyone in it did a really good job of enjoying it.
Well, every time I don't understand something and I ask Stephen a question, he always says, trust the editor. Trust.
I said to him, so, you know, he sometimes says to me, leave it to the editor. And I said, oh, who's the editor? Steve said to me.
Trust the editor. Trust the storyteller. Okay, I trust. And I do trust, you know, from film to film, you also I also understand Stephen's head a bit more from film to film. And,
Well,
and there is more trust there, which I think probably is the reason, and we'll get to it, but the most recent one, I probably am very...
Well, leave that little one till later, because you're probably wondering why I'm dressed like a Fox Doctor's Wall Clock's armpit.
But you do remind me of a character,
I just actually, we did a film which is now on limited release in its current form.
Yes.
It was called, originally it was going to be called Raven's House, until the cost of a raven really took up most of the budget. And it ended up being called Kestrel House, with a lovely kestrel called Gizmo. And we filmed that at our lovely place in St Leonard's.
St Leonard's.
And which part did you play in that?
I played Cassandra.
Cassandra, in a white wig.
In a white wig.
Which I think has been regurgitated several times in these films. She's not allowed to take that one home.
Oh, I've got it.
Oh, you've got it?
I have
Oh,
it.
she brings it on.
I have that.
Brings her own coiffeur with her these days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was great fun, wasn't it?
Fantastic fun. Stephen really did bring together the best of the crop, I think, and we had a great week there together.
Yeah.
The three of us that were the main women in the film that actually stayed in the house.
I said to Stephen, it's the ladies' film, not mine.
It was a ladies' film, and we stayed in the house, and the other actors who were day players came in and out, but we just had a great time. We were helping each other, we were rehearsing the scenes in the evening, we were talking about the story, and everyone was very up for making it the best film that we could make it. We were all in it for making it good. And that is something very, very special. It is very, very special to get a group of people like that
It's on
together.
YouTube and on limited release only for friends and all that. And I've had one or two people who watched it and they said it's very good.
Here begins the tale of the beggar girl who becomes a queen.
Wait 10 minutes.
2 sovereigns, the best I can do.
Alice had the countenance of a stray and underfed fawn that drinks from the cool stream at the end of a hot summer's day without knowing what dangers are around the corner.
In this very room, no less.
And verily, she had no thought of where this unexpected path would be leading her.
Alice, the darkness is only what we see.
Within 2 hours of arriving in Kestrel House, Alice was standing in line, available to anyone for 4pence.
You will not be permitted to eat for 2 days.
Don't worry. You'll be queen of the castle here soon enough.
I saw her in a bath full of blood, dead.
See, men do often go down the wrong path of destiny.
It's a corpse. It's an empty vessel.
Still a lot of love left in her.
I want my 4pence back.
Not.
Alice was a model of comeliness. Her cheeks were as a peach, her lips honeydew, her teeth strings of pearls, her breasts were pert with rosy buds that stood at bay, her body rose and fell with grace under the blouse. Never I saw fairer.
Show the gentleman out.
It's time to leave.
No, I have not been satisfied!
Alice would now be known at Kestrel House as Ariel, for no one used their real names.
It's a fantastic film, which reminds me of the films that have the cult following type film.
It's very much so.
May take even a few decades for people to appreciate, really appreciate it, whereas it's the cult following that appreciate it from the outset.
Well, see, in that particular film, I'm playing the main male antagonist, and I wore this hat. There's a reason for wearing this hat, which is a lovely hat. Thank you, Stephen. It doesn't fit me. It's actually got cardboard in it because
Is it too big?
it's the only one they have.
Cardboard. You can't get foam. A bit more comfortable.
Oh, I don't even notice. Well, with my hair don't. So we've got this lovely hat, And the reason for the hat was I didn't have to, because I actually play Baron Magister, which is Latin for master. So there's a hint back to Doctor Who. And lovely to have that because it covered up, I didn't have to have the horns on the whole time. So hence, I thought, with that, I'm not wearing the frilly shirt, but I've got this on. I've worn this once for Marc and Chums before, but this was a lovely thing.
This is a lovely jacket.
It's a lovely jacket. You can get it in red too, but I thought I'd put it on in your honour to actually, whatever we've done in the past, I mean, I think at the moment, as you have suggested, that they just get better and better.
I think so. I think so. I mean, I know that Stephen's been doing films way before I started being involved in some projects. But
I did several before I met you.
I just think that, gosh, it's like anything, the more you do something, the better you get at it. It's all about practice, and that's for all of us. And but practicing it, you know, and being together also, as I said before, really, really helps because you get used to the person you're working with, you understand them better. I think Stephen understands his actresses better the more he works with, so he knows what works with me, and I completely appreciate it. Man of few words, but definitely big an observation.
He certainly is a man of few words. The ladies involved in it were superb because, you know, I've done lots of films over many years, but the fact is that from my attitude watching it, it was the beauty of your timing. Because some people, if they're doing a film, seem to want to rush everything. And normally it's because if you're certainly learning lines, you're a bit ahead of yourself, and so sometimes it all trips up. But for me in Kestrel House, all of you lot did a wonderful job. I had very little. My favourite line in the whole thing is the dead woman who had her boobs out, and she was dead as a doornail, and I painted green.
Yeah.
And there's just one line which I can't remember was in the script or all that, and I remember the second assistant director there, Nigel Stern, he couldn't believe his eyes with all these ladies' boobies out and all that. And this particular character had a penchant for necrophilia. And I just look across at whoever it was, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, do you know what, I just can't help myself.
What is going on?
You know, I think you're probably right. Yes, the soul hasn't left the body. I must enhance it, I must get it. It must be mine.
Surely your soul belongs to yourself.
Yeah, a ghost still haunts this house. Like many souls. Absolutely. They're all here. Yes, but she'll remain like this, yes, until she's buried. It'll be tomorrow, and of course, until then I will have her. I will have her, she'll be mine.
My soul belongs to me.
Well, for the time being, yes.
You're a monster. In every sense of the word, you're a monster.
I just can't help myself.
And I just love that line because I don't know if it was impromptu or whatever, I can't remember. But it's all that. So it had a little bit of humour because the part I played, I didn't want to make it too cartoony and all that. It was actually quite straight-laced, but you came across with it in such a way that it wasn't too, you know, in your face.
Yeah, I agree.
Because my attitude towards the script was originally it was going to be based on Dracula, but it all changed. About 12 different scripts were coming and going, and at the end of the day, for me, it was the ladies' film, and I do believe in it. I thought you were all brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I really enjoyed Cassandra. And actually, it's one of these projects that we did so quickly because, as always, we come together and you kind of rehearse, and then it's straight into filming. And some scenes are straight into filming without rehearsal. He just tells you stand there, go. Which is great. But so many times in films, you know, although you've done it and the director's happy and fantastic, it's done, you go away and you start thinking about what you've done. You think, and sometimes Penny's other thoughts drop afterwards because you've actually managed, to understand better what you've actually done. And it's like, I could have done it differently, or I could have done it better, or I could have done it.
But that's the wonderful thing with his edits. You see, you think that, then you see the completed film, and you say, actually, wasn't all that.
Yeah. Well, what I enjoyed about Kestrel House as well is Stephen always opens that doors to be able to improvise. He always makes time in the schedule for some improvisation for us, and we did an improvisation that ended up making the cut, didn't it? That was a lovely moment for the character as well, because I think we managed in that improvisation to really show Cassandra's connection to your character, which was a very distorted one.
Why did you give Alice the choker?
Why not?
First you give it to Catherine, then you give it to Alice.
And why do you think you should have one as well? Well,
but
it had its moments.
I'm glad it added to the film, and I'm glad the editor liked it.
It was the editor.
Him.
I couldn't do the last day because,
Yes, you felt ill. That was so funny. Not that you felt ill.
Well, no.
But you did turn up.
I just said, we'll get round it, Mark, don't worry about it. Now, I'd done most of it, because the only thing I had a little thing to do. But it was, because of my current ailments and all that, it just got to the stage where I just couldn't do it. When it came out, I just said, I wouldn't have known that I wasn't in that last week. So
you know what? And it's all about the team he brought together as well, because we had to re-look at those scenes, which everyone did. We dished out some of the lines, we made it so it made sense, and we shot it.
And they did actually a much better job than if I had been there.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we did do a much better than.
Yeah, I'm full of praise for them.
It was the lawyer.
This is a difficult time for all of us. We need to do what she would have wanted. Someone must take her place.
One film that I'm very proud of, because it's something that Stephen always wanted to do. He wanted to do a full-length feature. And to be able to do a full-length feature in 5 days is unbelievable. I mean, to do a carry-on would take 6 weeks. To do that film was done in 5 days. At that beautiful place.
Well, like you said, it wasn't really 5 days. It was years of a script churning around and getting it right.
It was, I mean, how many versions? About 12, I think.
Well, yeah, six or more, probably.
There you go. And also, Stephen's ability to choose the right people. To come through for it, which I'm sure took a lot of time as well. Because it's a particular style. He's nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because but he did, and it was fantastic. I'm really, really, really pleased that I was.
And the makeup artist is fantastic.
Well, first time we met Jazz, wow. And if anyone wants to see how Jazz went about the makeup, I did do a video. What's it called?
Time lapse.
Time lapse. Thank you,
Called
Stephen.
Time Lapse. Yeah, well, and not only that, you had an assistant to Nigel Woodley, who I went to school with.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yes, went to school with Nigel Woodley. And he was 2 doors up from me in Whitstable. So I was really part of the Woodley family.
Small world.
But no, he did Marc and Chums, and we used to make 8mm films together back in back in the 70s.
Wait a minute, it's all coming back to me now. I think you did tell me that, but I'm not sure.
Well,
I remembered your
I said, well, you know, he had quite like the idea, and of course he always worked on 8 millimetre celluloid, which is a wee little thing. But he then got bitten by the bug, and of course came and helped on Kestrel House and all that. And then he did Ladies' Own Film, and I think he's going to do another one. We're having a meeting with him, aren't we, at the end of the year? Because we've just come up for Christmas. Merry Christmas. And he was just brilliant. It's so nice to see somebody who's got back into something that we did when we were children, basically, teenagers. Not knowing what the hell we were doing, but we just did it and had great fun doing it.
I think with any art, my conclusion really is just get on and do it. Don't worry about, you know, the perfection of it, because it doesn't exist. It's just about getting better, but the perfection.
You've got to start somewhere.
You've got to start somewhere, so just get up and do it, really.
We moved on from doing that one, which is at the distributors at the moment, so I sold. And then I'd never heard of the woman.
Which is really surprising. He only told me this before this filming, that he'd never heard of Emily Dickinson. We did 2 months ago. 2 months ago yesterday.
Is it only 2 months ago?
Yeah. Was it today's the 11th, is it, of December?
Yeah.
It's 2 months ago today.
Well, because I was not going to do Father Christmas anymore, and this was going to come off, and he said, no, people, we want you to play the master, another master, but this time he's a sea captain.
Yeah.
Who is a bit of a dream.
Yeah, he's Emily Dickinson's dream in the film, really.
Yeah. So again, this is me just making a sort of cameo appearance in it, and it is basically you two ladies.
Yes.
And what's the name of the other lady? I can't remember.
Sophie.
Sophie, that's it. Sorry, Sophie. And it's basically the letters of Emily Dickinson.
Yeah.
And you played Emily.
I did.
Not with the white wig.
No.
And we had a lovely...
I regret to inform you that at 3 o'clock yesterday, my mind came to a stand and has since been stationary. Ere this intelligence reaches you, I shall probably be a snail. By this untoward providence, a mental and moral being has been swept ruthlessly from the sphere. Yet we should not repine. God moves in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. He plants his foot upon the sea and rides upon the storm. And if it becomes his will that I become a bear and bite my fellow man, it will be for the highest good of this fallen and perishing world. If the gentleman in the air will please stop throwing snowballs, I may meet you again. Otherwise, it is uncertain. We were much afflicted yesterday by the removal of our cat from time to eternity.
Yeah, and Stephen brought Jazz along, which I'm really happy he did.
She's a hoot.
Because, well, she's a really excellent makeup artist, and not only that, she just gives more than what she is as she comes on the set and makes sure everything's in place and everything's looking right.
And she doubled up as your assistant, didn't she?
Yeah, and you need it, you know, there's a lot to think about and look at, and as we all know, Stephen likes to do it himself, but a little bit extra pair of eyes.
Yeah, always helps.
It does make a difference.
Because when we're on this side, we can't see it.
Yeah, I look, actors, we all love a bit of hair and makeup, but it's, for me, it's also...
My favourite, no offence,
we love
my favourite people are makeup artists.
But it's, but
it's like being at the hairdresser, isn't it? Sitting there having a chat, you know, and all that. It's lovely.
And it's just that you learn that on set, there's a job for everyone for a reason, and it really is When you're the
And she always
actor.
makes you comfortable too.
Yeah, and when you're the actor and you have to perform, you've got things to think about, whether it's lines or the atmosphere or a state of mind, and to be able to do your hair and makeup at the same time can be off-putting. I'm not very skilled in hair and makeup, so it really does help to have someone do it for you.
Yeah. And originally you weren't going to play Emily.
I wasn't going to play Emily. It was
You were going to
very
play
last
Sophie's
minute.
part.
I was going to play Susan, which is Emily's friend who dips in and out. And Sophie came to play Susan, and Stephen asked if I would play Emily because Emily, who was the lead actress who was originally booked, couldn't make it.
Couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And interestingly, if you look up photographs of our dear Emily, and then you in your full makeup, it's so similar.
Well, that is also thanks to Jazz, I think. But
Yeah.
I mean, after I saw the pictures, I could see the similarities. But Jazz definitely did. I mean, she worked off of a picture of Emily as well. So when you get the hair right and put, and the
Because
costume-
actually making the film, I mean, I have a bit of speech in it anyway, which was nice. Which I think was a poem, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually, if you read it properly, it's a bit naughty. But that's the way my mind works.
Yeah, because everything in your mind is naughty.
Wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights should be our luxury. Futile the winds to a heart impart. Done with the compass, done with the chart. Rowing in Eden, the sea. Might I but more tonight in thee.
But then, why not?
So why not?
Isn't that right, Mark?
Because when I first read that thing, I went, oh, I see what you mean.
I know.
Yeah.
We giggled through that. Quite a few takes on that.
But I had that only envisioned because there was no sound recorded apart from the ambient sound that was going on.
Yeah.
And then you were asked because she's from Overboard, and you did a sort of transatlantic American accent, which you maintained the whole way through, doing a recording of it, probably all in one take. And it's a long film. I mean, you did an awful lot.
We read the letters. Yeah, we recorded it in one afternoon. I don't think I've ever done that before. It was definitely an experience. It was nice to know you're able to do it.
Yeah.
You hone your skills and practice things all the time as an actor behind the scenes, isn't it? Even if you're not doing a job, you go back and you practice things, and it's good to know that the practice pays off at some point.
We did a bit of improv in that as well, didn't we?
Well, which part was improv?
Cup of tea.
Oh, the cup of tea.
It's at this point
The
I'm
cup of
lost.
tea.
We're supposed to. We're sitting on a bed having a conversation.
Yeah.
Tea.
Well, just to explain, isn't it? Emily is a voiceover film. So when you said improv, I couldn't remember what you meant. But yeah, Stephen knew the poems. He knew again. He knows what he wants from it. He studied it more. I arrived until I was told I'm Emily. See you in the morning. Okay. All right then. So I didn't know, which scene we were filming would go with which poem. We didn't have that process.
No, not at all.
Again, it was Stephen saying trust in what
he's doing.
what he's doing. And
got memory
I
like
did.
an elephant. I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, yeah. So it was a very interesting day of kind of atmosphere and
It's a very atmospheric film.
Yeah, so by now also with experience and knowing from film that I've done how far to go with your expressions, which of course on film is not far at all.
No, you've got it's small.
It's small, very, very small, all in the eyes.
Yeah. That's the last film we've made so far. We're going to remake Uncle George hopefully soon.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to have you on board today. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. Thank you again to the Fox for us being here. Thank you to Stephen for putting up with me repeating myself. And of course, do watch all of our movies. You can find them on the Zelica site on YouTube under Zelica, and all the Marc and Chums, all the films we've ever done, and all the films done before we ever got involved are all there.
Zelica?
Gillian.
Is it not Zelica?
Well, I always call it Zelica. What is it?
Zelica.
Zelica. Thank you, darling. As always. You learn something every day. Thank you, darling.
Every day's a learning day. That's what they say.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much, Mark.